there have not just been one aircraft and helicopter crash, there have been two crashes in the last 2 or 3 days with aircrafts. One that was a helicopter and airplane crash over the Potomac River in Washington, D.C., near Reagan International Airport. The other, a medevac aircraft, a small aircraft that crashed into downtown Philadelphia, and I'm going to talk about them both. And I want to know if you have a fear of flying to begin with. I know my wife does, which has nothing to do with these two crashes. But tell me if you do. And let's start with the first one. So, the military, a Black Hawk helicopter, was in a training mission over the Potomac River at past 8:30 at night, and it crashed into an American Airlines flight that was coming into the airport, and it had clearance from the air traffic controllers, so it should have just landed safely. And the Black Hawk helicopter was contacted and said, look around, there are aircrafts, do you see them, make maneuvers, and they said they saw it. But that Black Hawk helicopter with 3 military people on board crashed right into the American Airlines flight. And it went right into the Potomac River, and over 65 to 67 people died on both aircrafts in that crash. And I believe 40 bodies have been recovered at this time over or in the Potomac River. Now that aircraft, and I'm not talking about the American Airlines flight, I'm talking about the Black Hawk helicopter, was in illegal airspace. It should have not been at 400 feet where it collided. It should have been no higher than 200 feet. So my idea on that crash, and it seems pretty clear from pilots that I've seen reacting to it on YouTube, on TV, saying that this is the Black Hawk helicopters, the military people on board, the pilot's fault in this training mission. So they should have been only at 200 feet, which tells me that even though this seems to have been routine, that this has happened before, where aircrafts from the military fly there, it seems like this should not happen anymore. There are other places to train, and they need not be near commercial aircraft. It's just too dangerous. Something can go wrong. You can make a mental mistake. They were wearing these goggles where they couldn't see all of the area evidently perfectly anyway. So whoever authorizes this, they need to stop. They need to reevaluate the military, and they need to have their training missions in non-commercial airspace, like near Reagan Airport where this was. That is a very busy airport. So they need to do that somewhere else. Now, I'm doing this video because of the second video, because I live near downtown Philadelphia. I have driven on Roosevelt Boulevard many times. It is an enormous highway. There are many lights on it. This plane crashed, and it was a medevac, so there were doctors on board, there was a patient on board, there were pilots on board, 6 people died, and it crashed like a rocket ship right into downtown Philadelphia. I mean, it looked like Philadelphia was literally under attack from a Russian missile. Unbelievable, really. And this had to have been catastrophic disaster on board, in the sense that it just seemed to have blown up and went down very quickly, obviously accelerating with gravity anyway. Supposedly it descended from about 1,600 feet, 1,600 feet, and crashed, and there was, it blew up. I mean, you saw on TV the explosion, and it was large. There were cars on fire. There were houses that were affected. I don't know if anybody on the ground was killed. It doesn't appear yet that there were, but I don't know that there's any final confirmation on that. So these two events have just happened in the last couple of days. So this is really breaking news. So if you do have a fear of flying, I personally don't. I've flown many times. I don't get nervous when the plane's about to take off or land. It is still the safest form of travel. You go out in your car, you're much more likely to get into an accident where people are killed every day. So, but for people who are afraid, I'm sure this isn't doing them any favors. So hopefully this will be the end of plane crashes for a while, for years and years and years. But that did happen, and I needed to report that to you, especially because one happened just so close to where I live anyway, in an area that I know well, Philadelphia. That's it for this episode. Please subscribe if you find this content of value, and remember, history happens every day. Sherelle Parker just gave an update on the Philadelphia Learjet medevac air crash, where 6 people on board died. One has been confirmed killed in a car. There are now 3 others confirmed to be in critical condition, and 22 hurt officially. Now we pray for those who are injured. Some of the stories are really incredible, getting hit by shrapnel that we've heard. But we pray for the families, especially for those who have lost their lives.